protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirts you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do. Though I'm past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still. And I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Am I floating in my tin can? Far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue and there's nothing I can do.
Yay, Kathy Richardson. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome sauce as always. Gosh, that microphone is working. So,
Finally.
yeah, it's awesome. Your voice is actually like healing. Like there's something about your voice, the way that you sing, your heart, it like seeps out from your pores. And when you sing, seriously, like you are you're a temple all on your own. And that's just the truth and the whole truth. Right, Beth?
Totally. Absolutely. 100%.
Thank you.
So
thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, we are blessed. So welcome everybody to Speakeasy. And we are so excited about our Maiden Voyage. And we ask you to write anything that you're celebrating this week in the chat. If you're on Facebook, we'll put the link up pretty soon to get, if you want to join the group and join the conversation. But otherwise, we are grateful here to support a community that is a beautiful group of artisans and artists and activists and everyday angels. So welcome to our virtual speakeasy. Your presence is such a gift. Kathy Richardson sings for us, and we pray in. And if you have any questions, you can put that in the chat. And we have Mari, who's going to give the giving statement today. And she'll also do the announcements of events that are coming up. And there's a slew of them, which are super fun, both in person and online. Please don't miss out on them. Mark your calendars, because they're just soul food, and we all need a little soul food. After the talk, we opened it up to a conversation where everyone is invited to comment or question or share their insights. The consciousness of our community exists between us, and we believe that, you know, divinity sits in every seat. So please share your wisdom with us. Speakeasy is a diverse and progressive spiritual community sharing a message of love and engaging in conversations that inspire creative expression and spiritual well-being. We say that truth is our religion, truth is our passion, love is our religion, care is our currency, and peace is our goal. And we attempt to speak easily about tough and tender topics so that we can navigate life with greater wisdom and ease. So I'm going to turn it over to Beth Gordon, who's going to do the pray-in and the meditation.
Good morning, everyone. Today is the Maiden Voyage for a bunch of things here in the Speakeasy community. It's the Maiden Voyage of a new way of adding prayer into the community. So we are going to be adding a daily prayer share. And there's already a link in the chat. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please sign up. It's going to be every day at 8:18 p.m. And on the 28th of each month, we're going to have a special day of doing prayer that's particularly oriented around Divine Mother. So right here, right now, we're going to pray in this service. And in that very same link, anybody that wants to do what I'm going to do today, you can sign up there as well, because we are expanding prayer in this community. So here we go. I'm just going to invite everyone to just take a deep breath and let go of all the cares of the day. Just let everything go and just be here right now. So how good it is to sit together as this beautiful speakeasy community and recognize the presence of love and recognize the presence of peace. Recognize joy is right here. And recognize that the infinite creative power of the divine is present here as well. We are all one with this living presence. We are all one with love and peace and joy and infinite creative power. It's from this place that I recognize the presence of Divine Mother, Divine Feminine, that we are setting out on a maiden voyage together to explore this Divine Mother, Divine Feminine energy. And so today I speak a word of blessing over each and every one of us as we set sail, as we begin this journey together. Speak a word of blessing over Maureen, knowing that she is the perfect and right divine channel, speaking the words that each and every one of us needs to hear, that touches us in just the right space and place to awaken this divine nature. I speak a word of blessing over everyone here in this community, knowing that everyone is stepping into their perfect and right expression of who they are to be in their life and here in this community. I bless all of it, knowing that in the divine orchestration of life, all is unfolding with ease and with grace and with love and trust and integrity and joy. So as we just sit and dwell in this delicious energy, I invite you now into just a couple minutes of meditation to just be in silence together and to just let be what arises arise. And here we go, 2 minutes. And as we come back into this beautiful sacred space, I speak a word of blessing over Kathy. I speak a word of blessing over all those that join in prayer. And with love and gratitude, I release this word now, knowing that all of this is done, and we let it be by together saying, and so it is. Amen.
And so it is. Amen. Thank you. That's good stuff, man. So good to wake up with this bevy of positive, powerful energy. And as I mentioned, today we're talking about the maiden voyage, and I just love how these themes come alive for us on the backdrop of spirituality. So the feminine divine, as we already mentioned, is what we're talking about, and it is really alive and well. At Speakeasy, as you've noticed, we're a very female-oriented community. It's always been alive and well, but it's in the past is something we've sort of taken for granted. Like we just are a lot of women, and we have a lot of women powerhouses in our community, both teachers and musicians. And so this Sunday, I thought instead of savoring our favors for Mother's Day, which comes once a year, that we would do 2 full months on the Divine Mother. And we're launching into this Maiden Voyage, this Divine Feminine series, where we'll be using the chakras along with our devotion to the Blessed Mother. So there's a saying, a beautiful saying that goes, where women are honored, God makes its home. So just chew on that for a little bit. Where women are honored, God makes its home. So what does that mean to you? Is the feminine divine honored in your chapel, in your own internal sanctuary? Is the divine honored? Back in the day, I took my own maiden voyage. I went to Yugoslavia to see the Blessed Mother. And this journey was a sincere calling of my heart. to see in Yugoslavia and Medjugorje, there were women and children, girls and boys, who were seeing apparitions of the Blessed Mother. And I read about it as a child, and I had a sincere calling to go there. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I had this sincere calling to go there. But I let that go. I let that go because I had life, life got involved. So I think the desire to go there was called in part by the fact that my mother, thanks to my mother, I was raised in a home that was devoted to the Blessed Mother, which meant that each night we would say the Hail Mary together as a family, which seemed like such a weird thing because I knew it didn't go on in my friends' houses. And I felt like, kind of like, why do we have to do this? It's such a long, dang prayer that goes on forever with repetitions and repeats. And my mother was sincerely devoted to this prayer. So we as children became devoted as well. And the other thing that took my attention to Yugoslavia was that my mom died when we were younger. And so for the time I was like 13 and on, I had this like literally searching for the mother. Like I was like very weary at that time of my life. After you lose your mom, you kind of feel amputated in 1,000 ways. And so that's what I felt like. And I felt like I needed to find her. And I found myself sort of roaming the world like that little bird from the book, Are You My Mother? If you remember that book where he goes around saying, are you my mother? Are you my mother? And I was like in that state of searching for my mother in every nook and cranny. And I longed for those days when I was small and tired, and she would lift me up and carry me home. And I would rest my head in the bend of her neck. And I know that if you were ever a child, which we're all mothers, children with mothers, that you had that experience where you were lifted up by your mom and tucked onto her hip, and you could just rest your head on her shoulder. I mean, it's such elixir. It's such a beautiful experience. So I think we all secretly long for this, whether our mothers are still alive or not. So at that very young age, I set out to look for her, and I continued my devotion to the Blessed Mother. And it all felt a bit woo-woo, to be completely honest with you, because unlike other children or young adults my age who were going off to college, I found myself heading to Hollywood to become a star, and then to Yugoslavia to fill my spiritual well. And it felt like such an unlikely journey. But the truth is, I was never more clear in my life that I had nothing else to do but find my voice and find my vision. Like that's what I was about. And I had nothing in the world. I was this young person who, was how you are at that stage. Like I had a low bank account and high dreams. And so I had big faith. You ever notice when you have nothing else, you have big faith? And I had big faith. I had big faith in love, and that this love would bring me my good. And I was blessed at the time with an acting coach who also taught me about trusting divine intuition. You have to nurture that as an artist. You have to nurture that divine intuition and listen to that inner muse. And so she helped me with that. So as a young single woman, I knew the direction of my heart, and I went after it. I went on my own hero's journey. And at the time, I was so unharnessed by the confines and conditions of the world. I was my own mother. I was like, I'll do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want. And that was actually a blessing, to experience an hour of my life that was so beautifully untethered and so full of faith. And then I had kids. No, but you have that moment. So I had longed for this trip to Yugoslavia. And then out of the blue, I got an invitation to take a trip to Yugoslavia, specifically to Medjugorje. And this trip was fully paid for, fully provided, staying in the nicest places, being privy to nooks and crannies of the culture that very few had access to. And it came through this invitation of a friend of mine. And I was almost unable to accept this invitation because it was exactly what I had hoped for, that it felt unnervingly frivolous. But isn't the divine quite frivolous? Oh, she is. So this is not a plot that I had planned. It was felt fully orchestrated by the Divine Mother. And I, in my heart, I kind of, even though questioned it, I sincerely also like had no doubt that this was something I was supposed to do. And even when I share it now, I feel a bit sheepish because this way of being, this very receptive way of being, is not honored in the world. And even though I knew it worked, and even though to honor it felt like the smartest thing to do, in our world, it's seen as inferior if you don't think about it. You have to think about it. You know, you can't move from just your heart and your intuition. So again, it felt frivolous and fear-inducing to honor the Divine Mother. So take a breath into that and take a step with me. And we'll see together if, in fact, it isn't quite safe to allow the Divine Mother to roll out the red carpet for each of us. The symbol of the red carpet is a token from my days in Hollywood representing happiness and the good life, the red carpet. But it's also about the red river of flow. We've immersed ourselves in the glorification of death and the blood that comes from war. And we have demonized the red river of life and the blood that ushers in life. So take a breath with that and step with me into the curiosity of this. There's a way of being in that flow that's not something that I've always honored. Certainly the world has not honored it. It's felt at times that if I spoke of my reverence for the Blessed Mother, to the effortless flow of love and life, that I would, as a spiritual leader in our community, that I would turn men off or frighten people. Like, we don't talk about that on Sunday morning. So I'm just going to ask you just to be with it, to just get curious, to let these concepts wash over you and notice where your fears and judgments show up. Personally, in wanting to be all things to all followers and all people, I find that I have offered a diversity in our spiritual teaching. We honor all paths to God, but the feminine divine was only honored, like I said, on that secluded day of Mother's Day. And so we find this sort of amputation in many theologies and philosophies. A Course in Miracles, which is our spiritual, or at least my spiritual backbone, mentions mother one time. So as the world falls apart, I find myself no longer able to let that resource of the mother go unused and unutilized. It's the feminine divine that might shoehorn us out of this hell. And for me, it's a return to the home that I had as a little girl, that was filled with those whispered prayers and the fireplace and the toast and the cinnamon and the handmade altars and the Blessed Mother and that was decorated with stolen flowers from our neighbors' lawns. And I want to invite you back into that. It's time to bend a knee and tuck a chin and call your mom. The world is weary. A while back, I wrote this story of probably when I was weary searching for my mother, of this woman who was walking the forest, and she sat underneath an oak tree and she rested her head, and she hardly had the energy or strength to move forward. And she felt like she had lost her vision and purpose, and she was almost despondent, and she could do nothing but just lean against this big oak tree. And in her weariness, she asked this oak tree for wisdom. And the question was, how can I find myself? I seem to have lost my way. And how can I, return to my strength? And this tree, you seem so strong, even when everything is falling down. And the tree whispered to her, I receive my nourishment from the heavens and the earth. I seek the light and love of God and stay present in the moment. From this place of strength and balance, I'm able to provide a home for many and shade for many and nourishment for many, but do not believe that I give anything. The good flows from me without having to give. My branches do what they do. My leaves do what they do. I don't muster any energy around making this happen. I just stay seeking the love and light of the heavens with my branches reaching towards the divine. And I keep my soul rooted in this moment. And if you follow this example, you too will find not only balance, but great strength and purposefulness. So as we lean against the great oak tree together, I'm going to invite you to practice those two principles for the next 2 months, to root into every moment, to allow yourself to be centered in the moment, not flying off, not, distracted by the current events, but really allow yourself to root and reach for your divine. When you have no place else to go, you find yourself returning home to your mom, don't you? She's always there for you. And though you have devalued her, and though we have discredited her, she has never turned her gaze from us. So breathe with me and tenderly step into the taboo topic of Divine Mother that has been evicted from most religions and silenced in holy conversations, to the point that even to mention God as mother can cause a ruffle and a smirk and a wave of discomfort. But why? We know that God is neither masculine or feminine. God is fluid, or non-binary, as the kids are saying today. God wears many disguises, and back of all of it is love. To know a bolder version of this love, to honor a bolder or broader God, no pun intended, is to be willing to know and to see God where we don't see God, in all of its glorious disguises. To see God in all of its possibilities, not just the ones that are served up on the pre-approved menu. And why would it be important to honor the feminine face of God? To see God as not just powerful and not just providing, but to see God as nurturing and gentle and majestic and downright frivolous. Why would it be important to see God like that? Because she is. And it's not to be feared. It's actually to be revered. To court and converse about the grandmother God, the mother of a grand God. How might our lives have been different if we were taught about nurturing grandmother God, a sweet, patient, compassionate deity whose love is fierce and unconditional? To inhale that breath and to see God in the crossing guards of our life, God in the ladies folding the missalettes in the basements of churches, and God in those who bake the fresh apple pie and the keepers of the fireplaces and the bubble baths. What would it be like if we saw the holiest of altars was actually the soft lap of our granny? This is, after all, where we tend to place our most prized possessions, our most vulnerable, our pets and our babies go on the granny lap. Our bald-headed heads of our fathers rest on the granny lap. And what would the world be like if we took some time to see God as an old woman? We might not just honor God differently, we might actually honor aging men and women in our community differently. We might hold a greater awe and reverence like we hold for the redwood trees. If our God was an old granny, we might go to God with less trepidation. The holy feminine pool has been polluted with myths and mythologies that have caused us to discredit our mother. We travel the earth and rape her of her resources, pulling oil and slaughtering livestock without conscious understanding of cause and effect. We speak of the feminine fatale, a seductive woman who brings disaster to men. And what about the feminine vital, the female life giver, the mother, the giver of life? So I want to invite you into this maiden voyage where we honor the Mother God, the Gaia, the Mother Earth. I want you to not just know about the crucifixion, but the Sheila Nigel, the old Irish mother goddess, the Sheila Nigel, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sure Maureen Claffey can correct me if I'm not. She's a figure in medieval stone carvings of the British Isles and all over Ireland of a grinning woman holding open her vulva. It's often always described as grotesque. And yet not once in all of my years of kneeling before a slaughtered Christ hanging bleeding from a cross, not once have I ever heard or read the crucifixion was grotesque. And so the devotion of masculine God, even a bloody beaten one, is more appropriate than the natural notion of childbirth, of organic creation and the mystery of life that comes from the feminine divine. It's time to take Jesus off the cross and stop the genuflection to death. It's time to honor life. It's time to bring the divine out of the shadows, not just to heal the illusion of inequity, but to celebrate the mother, the grandmother, the maiden. According to A Course in Miracles, this is all a symbol anyhow. So it doesn't matter unless you think it does. unless you've given it meaning, unless it triggers you, unless you fear it. So how can we embrace a more feminine face of God? This thing is in us. It's within each of us, no matter what body type you're traveling in. And so to honor her is to honor softness and grace and love and warmth and openness and intuition and light and strength and feminine leadership, and not be scared of it and not demonize it. To see these softer sides as strength, not weakness, so that we can have balance. The world is rocking back and forth, and we need to bring in balance. Many cultures, religions have created stories, have creation stories that speak of the masculine and the feminine together. But this balance that's needed to take place needs to take place on the individual level, to embrace and honor your masculine, to embrace and honor your feminine. This is good self-care. This is what creates holiness. So what does that look like? The energy of the feminine is reciprocal. It receives, it's soft and allowing, it absorbs, it accepts, it nurtures. It's a whole lot of surrender, which we're not used to. We're used to the masculine where we go out and get her done. So, it's scary to surrender. We who are the doers of the world, we need to surrender it all. And instead of getting, we need to allow. So I'm going to invite you into that practice of receiving. Like I received that invitation to go to Yugoslavia. Allow your good to come to you, like a first-class ticket to your divine. God doesn't play favorites. So for some of us, this might sound like uncomfortably painful. If I don't go and get my good, I will have no good. That's the mindset of scarcity. And that's the mindset that requires you to believe that you are bigger than God. So how is that working for you? Let your God be bigger, not by telling your God what you need, but allowing your God to bring you the perfect teachers and the perfect tests to broaden your spiritual horizon. When I suggest that we let things come to us, this is not just things that come to us, but in your mind. Do you conjure? Do you try and find solutions and ideas? Don't engage in debating and convincing. Let it all go. Let the thoughts of all of this struggle and figuring out go. And allow yourself to open to intuition, inner wisdom. Allow the thoughts to come to you, to be in the space of mystery, and allow this voice. The ego speaks first and loudest. So we have to move past the voice of the ego that screams and complains and kvetches and convicts. And we have to move into listening to the voice of love. What would love have us do? This is not about force, but this is about power. This is not about strategy and construction and control of form. It's about consciousness. This is how it might look in your life. You could set an altar to your own feminine divine. Create beautiful spaces in your house. You could make your relationships with others an altar. You could devote, as we're going to devote as community, the next 2 months to a nightly prayer ritual like my mother taught me when I was a child. You could join us in this maiden voyage of prayer where we'll say maybe the rosary, maybe other prayers. You could join us at Speakeasy at Voice Box for our sing-along. It's very feminine to sing in harmony with each other. It's almost the opposite of war, isn't it? You could connect with your own intuition through writing. You could get your journal out and you could write, "Dear Divine, what would you have me do?" Do that every day and start to cultivate listening. You could connect with your intuition through dancing, through singing. Your internal teacher is available to you. You could even ask your internal teacher, what do I need to do to activate and nurture my own internal feminine divine? You could root yourself in this moment. You could reach up for your mother. You could allow her to lift you and carry you all the way home. That's the word.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah. My mom was only 5'2", and I was the biggest baby I think ever recorded. When I think of my mom trying to pick me up now, oh, poor mom. But that's a sweet.
That's how your mom, that's how strong your mom is. She's like,
Yes.
she ain't heavy. She's my baby.
Yeah, she had 4 of them too. All right. Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither while they pass, they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jaguru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes. They call me on and on across the universe. Thoughts meander like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble blindly as they make their way across the universe. Jaguru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Sounds of laughter, shades of earth are ringing through my opened ears, inciting and inviting me. Limitless, undying love which shines around me like a million suns and calls me on and on across the universe. Jaguru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Jaguru Deva, Jaguru Deva, Jaguru Deva, Jaguru Deva.
Yay!
Yay.
It's so weird being on Zoom, isn't it?
It is so weird.
I know. It's like I'm trying to applaud for you and I'm on.
It's okay. It's like real church. There was always like complete silence after someone would sing. It was the weirdest, whitest, most Methodist thing.
Well, glad I could bring you home to your use.
Thanks.
We have Mari who's going to give us a little bit of the announcements and some invitations. So where are you at, Mari? There you are. Spotlight.
Yes, good morning. Yeah, we have a lot going on at Speakeasy, and more than anything, I invite you to really get in touch with that spiritual divine and that intuition, like Maureen said. I personally started on a path going deeper into my spirituality, and through shifts and changes in life, I got to find A Course in Miracles. And actually, after A Course in Miracles conference, I found Maureen and the Speakeasy community, which has been such a blessing to me. And through all the teachings of Maureen, I ended up signing up for my first class through Speakeasy, was the affirmative prayer class. And then that led into signing up for Miracles Life 365. And then that led into A Course in Creating. And then many, many more followed. And the one thing I have experienced, it's such a greater expansion in and that connection with God, with my spirit, that inner guidance. And I feel very supported by the Speakeasy community, not only because I know there's always somebody there I can call to pray or just call and connect with, but definitely the most important has been that inner guidance that I have found, and being in that presence of peace and being able to do everything with peace. And one of the things that A Course in Miracles tells us is that to stay in that flow of love and the universe, giving and receiving are the same. And here at Speakeasy, I have found that through tithing, I have been able to stay in that flow and bring about that vibration of that whatever I give, I receive. And it's been shown to me that within a week and sometimes less, through different channels, whatever I give out to the community, it comes back to me. God always provides. So I really invite everybody to sit in quiet with your inner guidance and see where you're guided to share your gifts, whatever spirit puts in your heart, that you can share with our community, and through tithing. If you go into our website, our donation button is there. We will put it on the chat as well on how you can donate to our community. I am myself very spiritually fed by this community. And if you feel that this is your treat, you're not only spiritually fed on Sundays with inspiration, but through all the classes that we're offering, we invite you to just see what it's put in your heart, to add to a contribution to our community. We definitely appreciate it, and it is such a support in your journey, and trust me, it is gonna come back to you. When you're in that flow, it's coming back. We have some great classes coming up. I mean, September is jam-packed. It's like back to school. We have, starting September 6th, Enneagram class with Reverend Barbara Clevenger. We have on, obviously, the 8th, Voice Box, which we talked about. On the 9th, we have Voice, Visibility, and Value, your course to Purpose and Prosperity. And then on that Wednesday, also the 9th, we have the AA and ACIM that's ongoing. We have A Course in Miracles text study group that is ongoing on Wednesday nights. We have Culture Club on the 13th, and starting on Friday, the 11th, Art Meets Soul, art as a spiritual practice with Maureen Claffey. So tons of classes coming up, a lot of them free. Some of them you will have to make an investment, but a lot of them are not. You don't have to, they're free for you. So I really encourage you to sit with that inner guidance and see where you're guided and which classes to join, and we have you covered for the rest of the semester. So, and I pass.
thank you, Mari, and thank you for that awesome testimonial. We will be hearing from people from our community over the next couple of months about their own testimonials, because we have been and have prided ourselves in being the best kept secret. And it's time for that to be over with. And it's already stopped being over with when Reverend Sherry Johnson, showed up this morning to say that we were added to her listserv. And we'll be continuing to add ourselves to listservs all around the world, because we are not being bashful anymore about our awesome sauce at Speakeasy. So I put up some of the links in the chat. There's the giving, which is highly appreciated. There's also the Voice, Visibility, and Value, which is a free class on prosperity that Beth Gordon and I are teaching together. It will rock your freaking world. And there's also Art Meets Soul with Maureen Claffey. The link is up as well. And if you fill out any of those forms, you'll be in the group and you'll get all of our text reminders. So pass it to you, Kathy. Wait, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and the link is up to join in the daily prayer share, 8:18 p.m. every day starting September 1st. And that would be the same link if you want to do what I did today, the prayer and meditation, every Sunday here on Speakeasy. Come join us.
Yeah, so if you want to lead the prayer and meditation for our Sunday thing, fill that out and then we'll put you on the list. We want to hear your voice and empower your spiritual authority. And we're not fucking around.
Yeah. Do you guys mind if I play It's About Time again? Just because
Yes!
It works so perfectly with your theme.
Yes!
Okay. All right, people. Everybody knows this is the new Jefferson Starship song that I wrote with Grace Slick, right? Now you know. It's about time to clean out the water, sisters, wives, mothers, and daughters. Can't you feel the planet getting hotter? How can you sit back and watch your own slaughter? Old white men have had their turn.
Yahoo!
I gotta woo for myself.
Best song ever.
Thank you. Thanks.
You can get that where all music is sold. Go support this amazing goddess. This
Jefferson Starship, Mother of the Sun.
what?
With my son on the cover.
Oh my gosh.
Have I not showed you the space box?
You did, but every time you say it, I just have to say, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, Mother of the Sun.
Well, actually, break it down for us. Is this like a funky, you've done something cool with this, I'm sure?
Yeah, oh my God. Wait, hang on. Let's take this off. So, let me turn my reverb off too. That's annoying. Yeah, so, you know I like stuff that's cool.
Yes.
And I like cool album art. And this is a CD box. It looks normal. Pull it out. There's a little sleeve. And we have this piece that opens up. Here's the CD right here. Keep opening. We've got this beautiful art. Keep opening. Boom, it turns into a box, a functioning box with the beautiful art all around all the sides.
Gosh.
Inside is the lyric book, and just space. There's just space in there. It's so awesome. Like,
So awesome.
you can fit so much stuff in this box. It's like
it's a God box.
it's a mega. Yes, it's a God box. It's a stash box. Whatever you want it to be. Which is and the artwork is just beautiful. This young college student who happens to be he plays lacrosse, and our manager was a lacrosse player at BU, Boston University, and he mentors the young kids. And so, you know, if anybody wants to go in the music business, he'll help them out that way. And then this kid says, well, I'm an artist. And he said, have you ever done album art? And I don't even think he knows what an album is. He's like so young. I literally don't think he's ever seen a CD before. But he, you know, he had this idea. He had all these beautiful pieces of art where he put everyday things with space.
Oh,
You know, here's like a serving a dinner, and the plates are space, and and Cassiopeia is who the record is named after. And this is really woo-woo, but I'll tell you anyway. I won't tell you. Somebody that we know had a psychic reading, and Paul Kantner, and she asked him, where are you? And he started, according to the psychic, tracing this shape on her arm. And he said, it's a constellation, it's Cassiopeia. And so that's where Paul said he was. So I started looking into Cassiopeia, just the mythology of her. And she was, you know, like all women, she was created to be this vain woman who is punished for being vain, but that's not really, because she turns over in the sky. And sometimes she's stuck upside down because she was so vain, and she said she was more beautiful than some other goddess, and someone banished her to this. That's the modern day mythology. But before that, she goes back to basically the beginning of time, the beginning of all mythology. As she's there, her name is Ether. She's like essence. She's life force, basically. And, you know, through time, she was distorted to a vain woman. You know how they do. But anyway, she's cool. And so that's the space box and the concept.
Gosh.
She's the mother of the sun and the moon. She's, you know, the mother of everything.
Oh my gosh, Kathy, I'm so glad that I ask you anything ever, because your answers are always like, whoa. Thank you for being so smart, so generous, and so awesome.
Oh,
everybody go get yourself a
thank you for thinking that, because around here, all I do is like white butts, you know, so. I'm like, you guys don't know, I used to be famous. People used to wipe my butt.
Don't worry.
Anyway.
The mom who wipes the butt holds the power.
Yes. That's how I view myself, the all-powerful butt wiper.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? The symbol of this is that we need to get through some shit before we get this thing straightened out. And we're going to do it. Okay.
I'll take it.
Lesson from A Course in Miracles was, I am the light of the world, which seems like such a egotistical thing to say. But if we don't claim it now, like, there's nothing else for us to claim. We are each the light of the world, and the night is dark, and it needs every single star to shine as bright as possible. And my brilliance doesn't take from your brilliance. My brilliance illuminates your brilliance. And this is what we need to step into, is to really begin to illuminate, encourage, and expect the brilliance of the feminine divine. So we're going to put that into prayer. So we take a moment to, one last thing. Well, another way to encourage the feminine divine, since people have already mentioned it, like during the next 2 months, we have this series of the chakra series from the perspective of the feminine divine. So if you're a man, call your mom and give her the link and invite her. And if you're a mother, call your daughters and make sure they're on. I know I will, so they're not calling me in the middle of service. And if you're a daughter, call your mother and send her the link and the invitation. And if you're a son, call your sisters, your brothers, your girlfriends. Like, all of us are ambassadors for having and hosting this message, and for traveling to it, through it together as a family, you know, a holy family of one tribe and one light. So I'm the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We're going to go ahead and tuck our chin and bow our heads and know that God is so good, that God is right here and right now, that she is light and ease and grace and peace and power, that she lives and dwells in each of us. And I give thanks for our invitation, initiation, and ordination into delivering this beautiful, pristine Christ consciousness in the world. Christ meaning light, this light consciousness in the world. And that each of us are fully capable, fully ordained, fully supported in knowing where to go, what to do, and what to say, in staying on point and on purpose with love. George Floyd called for his mother. We will not have absent ears. We will rise to the occasion and honor her in ourselves and in each other. The world is calling for her mother. We are each calling for our mothers. And today we get to not only listen to the echo of the divine, but embody that answer of the feminine divine calling, that we get to embody it. So I give thanks for the full embodiment and the holy healing of this consciousness. And I release these intentions into the beautiful energy of God's love, who always says, yes, my beloved, yes, yes. And so I let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
And
Hey,
Yahoo.
women.
Hey, women. Hey, sister.
And Gloria freaking hallelujah.
Who is Gloria Hallelujah?
I love her.
She's married to Joseph Hallelujah.
Gloria, I think I got your number.
Gloria, I think I got the area. Don't get me started.
Did you know that Laura Branigan did, like, after I left Love Janice, they brought in Laura Branigan, and then they brought me back, and I was actually alternating with her for a few weeks in New York City.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, and she dropped out of the show real soon after that, but not before. The company had purchased all of these ads on the back of the milk cartons in New York City that was like Laura Branigan starring in Love Janice, and we're like, it's like they should just say missing, because she quit. Like, but her face was on the milk for all summer.
That is so funny.
I know.
Hollywood trivia. No one can really embody and carry the voice of Janis Joplin like you have. And so, yeah, you're a national treasure.
Thank you.
That was cool.
But that was fun. That was fun.
That was fun. Do you have any more Janis events coming up?
No, no. I did that thing on that Ravinia thing.
That was super cool.
Thank you. That's on YouTube. If anyone wants to see, there was a Ravinia TV episode dedicated to Janis Joplin, and I put the feathers on and I
It was
did a little tribute.
It was awesome. I feel like
Thanks.
something percolating. I feel like something like because this today felt like being at a Femme Vitale concert. Like I feel like we should do like a Femme Vitale concert where we like get, I don't know, there's something
Yeah.
happening. So I'm
For sure.
excited about the possibility of that vision.
Cool.
It's already happening.
I'll be there.
Okay, awesome. All right, you guys have a lovely week. Don't forget
Thanks,
to
everybody.
create your altars and to question where you can be in your empowerment. And we'll see you next week.
And remember
Mhm.
that you are goddess.
Yes, you are goddess. Call your mom.
Bye, y'all.